Quickly, my name is Emily McDonald, and I'm the president of the UPUI, which is the Undergraduate Student Government at University Park.
My name is Katie, and I am the executive director of the Penn State Dance Marathon.
My name is Brandon. I'm the executive director for Homecoming 2015.
My name is Sean Linkbar. I'm the president of the Council of Commonwealth Student Governments.
I'm Shannon. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Penn State student-run newspaper, The Daily Collegian.
My name is Robert. I'm the Director of Records for the Association of Residence Hall Students.
I'm Alex. I'm the visual editor for Onward Stage.
Great. So while we were gone, we got a lot of really great questions asked. And one of them is, wait, we're muted, it says.
I just fixed it.
Okay, hello everyone. We got a lot of really great questions while we were gone. And one of them is, what's the best way to get around campus? Should I walk everywhere? Alex, you were just talking about your daily walks from Forum Building to Shields.
Yeah. Here on campus, we have two bus shuttle systems. There's the blue loop and the white loop. And they run from very early in the morning to very late at night. So you should definitely take advantage to them so you're not having to walk from, the complete west side of campus, complete east side of campus. And they're definitely a huge time saver.
Yeah, and those are free to all students. So that's a really great thing to do.
The other thing that's like super underrated at Penn State's campus is the shuttle. Especially if you're a business major or have to go to West Campus, it takes you to some like a little bit more kind of obscure locations. So you should definitely check out that map also.
There's also the red link and the green link. The red link, I believe, is the bus that goes from campus to Innovation Park.
Yeah, so if you're communications.
Yeah, and the green link goes from West College to, I think the whole way down to the Bryce Jordan Center. So those two links also take you throughout campus to opposite ends of town, and they're also free, just like the white loop and the blue loop and the shuttle.
Yeah, so those are all really great ways to get around. Also, it's not horrible to walk from one end of campus to the other. I mean, it's not something you want to do every single day if you don't have to, but you can do it. But it does take probably at least 20 minutes to walk if you're walking from like the far ends, and I walk really fast.
Yeah, and sometimes the buses aren't the most efficient way to get somewhere. Like there have been so many mornings where I could have just walked, but I end up getting on a bus that takes 15 minutes longer than what it should have. So I end up being late to class. So I would say definitely it's kind of hard just if you're a first year student coming in and like knowing exactly which bus to get on. But after a while, if you really get good at it, then you can definitely decide if you think the day is going to be super busy for the buses and you want to walk, or if you don't think anyone's actually going to be on the bus, so you get there in like 2 minutes compared to the 20 minutes it would have taken if you walked. So
absolutely, and the CAT app will be your friend. You can download the CAT app, and it is a way to tell where all the buses are, so you know where they're going to be. Like, so if you're like running really late and you think you want to catch the bus, you can look at the app and see where the bus is, and if it's like the whole other side of campus, you're probably not going to want to wait. I know the best thing for me was just to play it by ear with every class. Giving myself extra time and figuring out, after a couple of days of class, what's the best way to get there.
You can also bring a bike down to campus as well.
Yes, that's
another way that people do it. Make sure you have a lock, though. There are many bike racks around campus that you could put it on, but bike seats, I think, are the number one thing on campus. So it's definitely something that you want to keep secure, but it's also another alternative form of transportation you could use.
And if you do bring your bike, make sure you register it.
Oh yeah, that's a big problem. If you bring your bike and you don't register it and something happens to it, they really can't do anything for you. The police can't really do anything to help you with that. So I just got a great question about how to get involved in organizations. And so that's a really good question. So you want to talk about the involvement fair, Sean?
The involvement fair.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I would say most certainly don't be shy. I know it's very intimidating coming to a giant university, but really everybody who's at the involvement fair is there for your best interest. So I would say speak up. Don't be shy. sometimes go for things you wouldn't normally go for. And that's how I ended up in some of the greatest opportunities of my life. Do you have more to say about that, baby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when it is.
Yeah, when it is.
The involvement fair is the first week of classes. They have different days scheduled for different types of clubs and organizations. They have a whole day dedicated to Greek life and club sports. Then they have one for more general organizations. Penn State has more than 1,100 student organizations total on campus. So anything you're looking for, chances are Penn State has it. Whether that's getting involved, you can get involved with the college Republicans and college Democrats if you really want to get involved with the upcoming elections, or even if it's just a Quidditch club, if you like Harry Potter and want to compete in that. We have a lot of club sports teams as well. So the involvement fair is a really good place to go. You can sign up to get more information and basically ask questions. All groups are always looking for more members and for more people to join. So definitely get involved there.
Yeah, I know a really big thing that helped me whenever I came to decide what I wanted to be involved in is I went to the involvement fair and I put my name on so many listservs. And while like you get annoyed by the emails if you didn't decide to join it, you can always leave the listserv after like deciding if you want to. But I know for instance, like I joined like this, I thought I wanted to go to law school, so I joined this listserv and I learned all about these like pre-law advising sessions, even though I didn't even join the actual organization, but I got to still participate in that. So I thought that was really cool. So that's a great way to learn more about what's going on campus, even if you don't join the organization in the end. Sean, you were talking about running this summer and someone just asked like the best stress relief. I think it'd be great for us all to talk about how we kind of cool down from that crazy busy week and studying and exams. We all have those big weeks that pile up on us. So Sean, why don't you talk about how you kind of get rid of your stress?
Yeah, coming from Altoona campus, I did cross country there, which is D3, so it wasn't that competitive. But still, I enjoyed running there. And then when I transitioned up to University Park, I continued running up here, and we have some amazing trails. So when it came to a stress release, I found running, especially up here, and you can do it at night because there's lights everywhere. There's lit trails, so I found running was really good stress release.
Yeah, how about we all share that?
One of my biggest stress relievers, I'd say, similar to running, walking around campus is really nice. We have a really beautiful campus, especially in the fall when the weather's nice. You can go hang out at the Arboretum. It's really quiet. You just want to have some open space to just kind of think to yourself. It's a really good spot. Or another good way to relieve stress is just to kind of sit on your couch or your bed, just watch TV for a little bit. If you watch Netflix, put a cap on how much you watch. You can find yourself watching it all night. But I think just doing some kind of mindless activities, just let yourself think or kind of let yourself relax, because we work a lot here, we study a lot here. It's nice to give your brain a break sometimes.
Yeah, I would just say do something that you like doing that isn't school or academic related. I really like playing tennis and hanging out with friends and playing volleyball, basketball, racquetball. So those are just some things I use to just de-stress when things get a little stressful. Or, I just close my books and I just turn on the TV or turn on my music and just hang out and chill for 30 minutes to an hour. That really helps you just like de-stress, not think about it, and then I always feel 100% more refreshed when I go back into it after.
Yeah, I'm also a member of Club Swim, so it's always great to have, a break from studying and all that and be able to go to practice with my friends, and that's a great way to relieve stress and exercise too.
For me, the biggest way I like to relieve stress is I like to find a quiet place on campus, and I try to find new places. And I just listen to music. I put on a good song that I can just kind of forget the world to, and I just either take a walk or I go to my apartment, but sometimes my roommates are there, so sometimes I'll just go to the library again. So yeah, I like doing that. Just music is really a big way I relieve stress.
Yeah, I like to go to the gym. There's the 3 main gyms here on campus: IM Building, White Building, and Rec Hall. And all 3 of those have really awesome fitness classes. So I love to go to like Power Remix or cycling classes, which are a fun way to kind of de-stress. And, I'll bring some friends with me, so you get to hang out with some friends in a really productive environment and take a break from that schoolwork or the organization stuff that you're stressed with at that time.
Yeah, and I guess my methods are kind of similar to Emily's. I would say the campus is so big that if you are stressed, take a walk. I know there are so many places that I wouldn't have known about if I didn't do that. So I kind of just like put on music and try to find like new places on campus that I've never visited before. It's a good way to kind of just leave everything behind for a little bit, which I definitely recommend because it can be kind of overwhelming. So.
Yeah, so I've got another great question from a young gentleman from York, Pennsylvania. Thank you for this question. It's really good. Is it bad that I don't have a major now? I'm coming in undecided and don't really know exactly what I want to do. Did any of you guys come in undecided? Okay, I came in undecided, so I came in undecided, and I think that's totally fine because our DUS program is so great that you get to experience all different areas. So for me, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I came in undecided, which was actually super awesome. So I took some classes, and I immediately really liked econ, so I switched pretty quickly. But I know people who have taken 2 years, and in that 2 years, they take all of their general education courses, and they take basic courses that are kind of, you know, pumping them up to be able to do any major that they want when they decide, and they get to experience tons of different things. And I know that the DUS advisors are really great at helping you do different things on campus that will direct you towards where you want to go. So I think that that's one of the reasons why I came to Penn State, is because that has a great DUS program that allows for you to not get behind and have to stay an extra year just because you don't know exactly what you want to do when you start at Penn State.
And I would say that if you think you know what you're gonna do, don't be too set on it, because I know a lot of people who get here and they say, yeah, I'm going to Penn State, I'm going to do marketing. I love marketing, I'm going to do it. I know Katie and I both came to Penn State with that mindset, and we are both not marketing anymore. So I switched to graphic design, and I love it. And I know so many people who have changed their majors because they think that they might be interested in something, but you know, like Emily said, the great thing about Penn State is you come and you're not really committed to any of the majors yet. Like, you have time to really explore if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I encourage people to, you know, even like you said, if you're dead set on something, maybe just take something else too, just to make sure. Just another question. So what kind of job opportunities are at Penn State? Robert, I know you're an RA, but do you want to talk about any other campus jobs that people can apply for?
Yeah, sure. So you can apply to be an RA, and it's a pretty lengthy process, but you do get compensated pretty well. And you can also work at any of the dining commons here on campus or any of the convenience stores that each area has. I know that a lot of programs offer work studies as well, where it's like a part-time job where you go and you do homework and you just do like some administrative work or just some tidy up work that people need. Really, there's places downtown as well that hire part-time students. We're a very student-oriented university in town, so a lot of the employees that everyone hires are students that are taking classes. So they're very, very compatible with knowing that, you know, you are a student and you have clubs yet. You're trying to make a little extra cash to have maybe go downtown to eat with some of your friends every weekend. So they're very, very compatible to that and stuff like that. So there's different opportunities. I know that the Nittany Lion Inn holds like a career fair almost to get jobs at the beginning, so it's definitely something worth checking out.
Just got a question, and it is, how hard is it to manage your time in college? And I think that we all probably can answer that as anybody that really feels like they're great at tackling time management. Sean, I know you are. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and tackle this one. Time management. So, yeah, being a nuclear engineer and president of a student government organization that is Commonwealth-wide, whoa, right?
Whoa.
I would say, you know, you really do have to schedule some time for yourself. Not only is it knowing when your classes are, it's scheduling that time to study for your classes. Making sure that you're getting some sleep. Sleep isn't always in abundance, but it's definitely a must. And make sure you get some coffee in there too. Love my coffee. I do, usually I have a weekly planner that I do my things through. I also love my Google Calendar. Mm-hmm. My Google Calendar tells me, I put my classes in it, it tells me where to go. I have put my meetings in there. Well, generally some people might not have meetings. I don't know who those people are.
Not my friends.
But you have generally, you know, what assignments are due, you can put in your Google Calendar. If you're not as apt for the Google Calendar, even just a regular agenda book. I found this really helpful my freshman year, getting adjusted to a couple of the strains that college throws on you. Just knowing and putting your assignments in there, writing down immediately when something is due, and that kind of thing has really helped me use my time as efficiently as possible. And as you go through your college experience, you'll learn how to be more efficient in your daily lives and your daily habits. But it really comes with starting that good foundation with saying, okay, well, this is class time, this is study time, this is friend time, and going from there, I would say.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. And that time management is such an important skill to have when you have an abundance of open time. You're not so scheduled from like 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. like you may have been in high school or previously.
It's also like a piggybacking, or not a piggybacking, a trial and error sort of thing. Like in high school, you probably didn't have a lot of free time on your very packed, like Emily was just saying, but in college, you have like a lot of free time. I would say like 15 to 20 hours. So it's just like a trial and error. You know, if you go over too much and you're hanging out too much, like, you know, the next semester to like bring it back and start studying a lot more, putting it and focusing it there, and you'll get the hang of it sooner or later.
Yeah, I agree. It's great, Robert. So you talked a lot about your Google Calendar, which is a really big thing in my life. And I know Katie has a very good relationship with her Gmail account. So if you want to talk about webmail and how you kind of use Gmail, and maybe is a better option.
Sure. So when you come to Penn State, you get like your PSU ID, which will also become your @psu.edu email address. So they'll give you access to webmail, which is kind of the Penn State's like webmail.psu.edu. One thing that I would really suggest doing is getting a Gmail account and then having your webmail to automatically forward to Gmail, because you'll have the opportunity to be able to send emails from an @psu.edu email from the Gmail like website, but you'll also have some of the features that come along with Gmail, like folders, labels. You can use your Google Calendar, which, like Emily said, I like live by. If it's not on my Google Calendar, I'm probably not there. But I think that it's really helpful to have that Gmail and kind of use that as one of your time management tools, as well as just for like organization pieces. So I would definitely suggest, if you don't already have a Gmail, to get one and then have your webmail forward to that also.
Yeah, and the ResCom, and the Res Halls can actually help you do that. So they can help you forward your PSU to your Gmail and teach you how to use that. So I would definitely visit ResCom as soon as you get here, because I know for me, I mean, we have multiple email accounts, but it really comes in handy to not have to look at 2 separate web servers. So
Yeah, I agree. That was life-changing for me.
Yeah, and Gmail stacks all of, so people reply to your emails, you get a stack of them, so it's really organized.
Yeah, it's really great. So we just got a question from Robert on Twitter. Robert wants to know, what are the top 3 things freshmen must have their first semester here on campus? I think this is probably good for all of us to answer, because for different people, it might be different things. So for me, a shower caddy. If you're living in the residence halls, like, that is a must. You do not want to be carrying your stuff like separately every time. A quality coat. It's so cold. It's so cold. And then third is just this is kind of something that isn't tangible, but an open attitude, I think, is really important. So a shower caddy, a really good coat, and an open attitude, and you're set for your first semester on campus. So you guys want to talk about the 3 things that are good for you? Big
I would say shower shoes. You need to have shower shoes. I mean, the caddy's pretty important, but
I'll trade my
You
open
won't, like-
attitude for shower shoes.
yeah, you don't want like athlete's foot or anything like that. Luckily, a lot of the dorms are starting to move to like private bathrooms. But if you end up in like East, which a lot of first year students will, definitely buy shower shoes. There you go. Buy 3 pairs of shower shoes. They're my 3 things.
I haven't thought of what the other 2 would be, but the one thing that I always recommend for freshmen to bring is like a Brita filter for your fridge, because you will have like cold water in your room all the time, and you don't necessarily have to walk down the hallway.
I would say one thing that I could not live without is my backpack. My backpack has my life in it during the school year. So it has my laptop, books. I mean, the average person, it could probably break your back, but a good backpack does go a long way. Definitely, I come to this jam so much, I don't have an eraser. And I know that sounds like a little juvenile, but I never have an eraser, and I always have to ask people for erasers, and no one has erasers. It's like a weird
I mean,
thing.
you're using a pen. So
I know. But no, at least the eraser is important for me, along with a good backpack. And I would say a laptop you're comfortable with. A lot of my friends came to school with like these big laptops that were kind of cumbersome, maybe, and it wasn't a fit for them. It was a fit for maybe another person, but not them. So I would say be comfortable with the laptop you're bringing.
love the laptop you're with.
Yeah.
So going back to the weather, I said this earlier, snow boots, I can't emphasize enough. Durable
That new
boots.
pair.
Yeah. Or a pair of rain boots, because I can't tell you how many pairs of shoes I destroyed my freshman year before I bought a good pair of rain boots and a good pair of snow boots, just because the weather is extremely unpredictable up here. Another thing that I thought was really, really beneficial is a portable charger for your phone. Because I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just my phone or if it's something about Penn State, but your phone dies so fast. If you're sitting in class on social media the whole time, it's going to die quick. And if you're not sitting near an outlet, you're going to want something that's a portable charger. This is really good for football games too, because when you're in Beaver Stadium, all those people in there, it really clogs up. I guess the cell phone satellites and everything starts running slower and things don't load and your phone will die. If you want to take pictures, you want your phone to be on. Third thing, I think, is a planner, something that you can write things down in. And we can talk about staying organized and staying time managed. I like having something I can physically write in. So when I'm sitting in class taking notes, if my professor says a key date or something, I can just write it down on my calendar.
Yeah, I'll say one more thing about the weather. I would always bring an umbrella, because the weather here is so bipolar that, you know, you could walk out and it's sunny and really, really warm, and you'll get out of class and it'll be downpouring. So you always want to have an umbrella. The second thing I would say is bring a boxed fan or some sort of portable fan. When you get here, it'll be really, really hot, so you'll want the fan. But even during the winter, when they crank up the heat in the residence halls, it gets so hot sometimes. So the fan is a really good tool. And then the last thing I would say is bring your favorite snack. I snack at all times throughout the night at random hours of the night. So
Every hour.
exactly. I eat like every hour, so it's like great to just have like, I'm a big fan of like granola bars and Cheez-Its. So it's always great to just have them there whenever you need a snack, whether you're studying or just hanging out, or you wake up at like 3 a.m. and you just get really hungry.
Yeah, my 3 things would probably be a nice heavy-duty coat for the winter because it gets really cold. Some good boots. I love those new boots that have good traction on them because it gets icy too. And we talked about it before, but you will probably also want to have some sort of suit or some sort of professional attire for interviews or whatever you may come to.
Yeah. Headphones, earbuds.
Earbuds,
Yeah. Some of those same music too while you're walking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great way to drown out the just got a Twitter question. Keep those Twitter questions coming. Wow, so many of them that are really great. How did you guys get the leadership roles that you have now? Is it really competitive to get positions in organizations? So I guess it depends on what you're looking for. I think that if you're in the right place for you, something that you're passionate about, something you enjoy, I think that the leadership positions kind of come more naturally than if you're kind of doing something that you just want to build for a resume. While like there's different organizations that you think, oh, that would probably look great on a resume. I wouldn't recommend joining something just to put on your resume. I think you should join something that you're really passionate about, and positions and whatnot will kind of flow more naturally and probably be more attainable. For me personally, I went through student government this will be my 4th year. My first year, I did the interview process to be involved. My second year, I ran an election and then ran an internal election for a chair position. And then the past 2 years, I've run as a student body. So that's how I kind of had to do mine, which is a lot different than most probably other positions that are elected. I think actually everyone's different than that. So yeah, I ran an election. So I did a campaign and did all that fun stuff. Kind of had to sell myself there. So you can check it out, BillMcDonaldFord.com, our platform. If you see anything you're interested in working on, email me because we love to have new students get involved. So you guys talk about how you guys got your positions.
Yeah, I think so in Thon, the way that positions work is through an application and an interview process. So I've been through that a few times now because I've held a few positions within Thon, and I think that's pretty much the standard for how Thon positions are selected. I think just speaking about leadership positions in general, I kind of always had this mentality of I was going to go for it and I was going to hopefully get it, and if not, it was going to be a great learning experience, and I was going to get to practice my interview skills or practice writing an essay for an application, and those are never bad skills to have. So I think that just making sure that you're open to new opportunities and not being afraid to go after some of those.
Yeah, I mean, Thon and Homecoming are set up in a very similar way. So I received my position by applying to be a captain my freshman year. And then from there, I applied to be on the executive committee. And then after that, I applied to be the executive director. So, I mean, my advice would be find something that you're passionate about and stick to it. There are a lot of people who join organizations and then they'll do it at one level and then they'll leave and do something else at one level. So if you really want to make an impact with something that you really, really care about, I would say, have the drive and have the passion to stick through it till the end. I loved Homecoming and I knew that I wanted to continue doing it each year. So it was natural for me, a natural progression, which I'm sure is very similar for Katie. And I mean, it was the same way for Emily. So if you find something that you're good at, something that you really enjoy doing, something that you care about, I think it comes naturally.
You guys want to talk about your experiences?
Yeah, so Commonwealth Student Government is an interesting organization to be a part of. So you start at your campus, your SG at your campus. I was a senator my freshman year. I was elected by the representatives in my hall. Then I became chief of staff my sophomore year. Then I ran, much like Emily did, to become president of Commonwealth Student Government, the Council of Commonwealth Student Government, CCSG. So it was a long, drawn-out process of getting to this point, but I had so much passion and I loved every second of it coming to this point right now. So it's more of like what Emily said, finding what fits you and getting to that point.
Yeah, similar to what everyone has said, with the collegian, it's really what you put in to it is what you're going to get out of it, like all these other student organizations too. So with the collegian, I really had to show myself or show everyone and my editors that I was there and I was dedicated and it was something I wanted to do, whether that was picking up more stories or writing more in-depth stories and then working my way up to an editor role. So it's really just kind of working your way up and putting that work ethic into it and not really going in with the mind that you're going to get something. You really have to work hard and you really can't have a sense of entitlement because it's just something that you really need to work towards. And yeah.
I'll take it like a little bit of a different approach. We're all very lucky to have gained student leadership positions. I know Emily's ran in the past 2 elections and they've been really, really close and really, really competitive. So it's not for everyone. She's obviously beating people out. So, but if you don't get a leadership position, I wouldn't be discouraged. You can be a head of a committee. You can be head of like a certain project or put on a certain project. So you don't need like these big positions like we have. You can have like those smaller ones and that really shows that you're dedicated. And like everyone else has been saying, it's been a natural progression for all of us, including me. I started at the area and now I've moved up to the overall one. So if you just show that you're dedicated and you have the desire to work hard, you'll get there.
Yeah, I started as a photographer for Onward State, and I immediately fell in love with it. I loved what I was doing, and I was just really motivated to put in more work and put in more effort. And this time for the little editor position, and I ended up getting it. And ever since then, I've been completely motivated, and I love what I was doing. So the biggest thing to gain leadership positions is to really want to do the work. And if you personally like what you're doing and you want to do more, then leadership roles will just come your way naturally.
Yeah, and I kind of want to echo what Robert said. I have a lot of friends who have maybe not wanted to be involved in a lot of different things. So taking a leadership role in any of those wasn't necessarily what they wanted to do, but they've gotten to experience a lot of different aspects of Penn State. because there are so many different things to get involved in. So I wouldn't just settle with one thing just because you think you definitely want to be a top leader. Experience different things. Like, I don't think that I would be a good student leader today if I hadn't been involved in like 4 different things. I actually did Association of Residence Halls for a while too. So I've done a lot of different things, and that's kind of brought me where I am to realize what I really like to do. Just got another really great question. Does Penn State help with dealing with student loans? And I know Shannon said she wanted
Yeah.
to talk about this.
So the loan process can be really annoying, but it's something that I had to go through my sophomore year just because Penn State is a very expensive university, the top in-state tuition in the entire country for public schools. So there are a lot of resources you can use to help, including scholarships and options for loans. Scholarships are really important to apply for. They're offered in every individual college. So I applied for scholarships through the College of Communications, which was basically just an application with some personal information, my resume, what I've done in the College of Communications, and why I need funds. A lot of these scholarships are need-based, so they go through the FAFSA, which you can fill out your freshman year. You have to fill it out with your parent, with at least one parent, because it asks for their tax information. And if you work and make a certain amount of money, you have to fill out your tax information as well, just about your income, your assets, how many people you have as dependents in your households, stuff like that. And that will kind of determine your need-based aid. And from there, you can apply for more scholarships, whether that's through Penn State or through applications like CapEx and outside aids. You can do that, or you could work with the Office of Financial Aid and apply for different types of loans. So there's private loans you can get through banks, or you can get federal loans, which is one I have, which is the Parent Plus loan, which is really, you go through your parents again, and they provide their financial information, and the federal government gives you money based on that. And it's really helpful. I use my loans to help pay, obviously, for tuition and for rent, and it really takes the burden off of my family. And you can do payment options where you don't start paying until after you graduate. So it's really good to do that, but don't take more money than you need, because you're eventually going to have to pay that back. So just to be mindful of that, make sure you're budgeting well to what you can afford.
It's great information. I think we're going to take one 5-minute break now, so we'll be right back. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about one thing that we wish that we could redo about our freshman year. So that'll be really great. So I think you should stay tuned. We'll be back around 7:26 promptly. Yes.
I've been here for.
That's really- Oh, we're back, ready to talk about our experiences that we would change from freshman year. So I would just introduce ourselves as we say it again. So like I said, I'm Emily, and I'm the president of UPUA. And I think the biggest thing that I regret about freshman year and what I would change is I came in with like kind of a bad attitude. I wasn't open to the university, and I know that it really created a bad couple of first weeks for me. I went home the first 2 weekends of my freshman year, and I kind of came in, I was like, I don't want to be here. Like, this place is so big. Like, I had a really close-knit group of friends from high school. I missed them a lot, and it wasn't until I started getting really involved and really branching out and meeting people that I started to really like being here. So I guess it was only 2 weeks, but it was still 2 weeks of time that maybe my best friend is out there somewhere and I didn't meet that person because I was being lame. So that's what I regret.
So I think freshman year I was like super involved in a ton of organizations, and I think that I kind of got a little bit over involved, so I wasn't able to be as involved in just a few organizations as I wanted to be, because I was in 10 different orgs instead of 3 that I was focusing in. And I think for some people that's perfect and that's what they want to do, but I wasn't able to manage my time correctly. So I think that if that's something you want to do, you just need to make sure that you're taking time for yourself. And setting aside that time to do homework and things like that, rather than just overextending yourself with your involvement.
Yeah, I guess for me, freshman year, especially the first semester, I wasn't as outgoing, and I didn't really have like the open door policy like a lot of freshman dorms have. So a lot of my floor ended up getting really close, except for me and my roommate. So I would say, if I could go back and change that, I would definitely want to take the time to really meet the people around me, which I ended up doing spring semester, but by that time, I had already missed a semester where I could have made a lot of good friends. So if I could go back and change one thing, it would be really trying to build those relationships early on, because those friends will stick with you forever.
Unless you don't make them.
Yeah, like me.
I'm Sean, CCSG president again. I would say my freshman year, one of the big things that I regret is not getting involved, kind of, being the quieter person and just observing. That kind of held me back, looking at going through sophomore year, I was, more involved and got more out of my college experience, which was great. But I think I really could have made a lot of connections my freshman year that I didn't, and I really needed to step outside my comfort zone. I know that sounds generic, but if you do it, you'll have a really good college experience, I think.
The biggest problem, I'm Shannon, I'm the editor-in-chief of the Daily Collegian. I think the biggest problem I had my freshman year is I stressed myself out a lot academically. In high school, I was always very GPA focused, which is something that kind of shifts when you're in college. It's really good to have your GPA in mind, but your GPA is not the end of the world. If you do bad on one college exam or do bad in a class for a semester, it's not going to kill the rest of your 4 years here. And it really gave me a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and I really overexerted myself in that regard and didn't take a lot of time for myself. So I think, again, it's really important to give yourself breaks and not to dwell on the negative aspects if you do bad on an exam or in a class, just because it's your first semester and you're still getting situated in a new place.
Yeah, something I would change freshman year is taking advantage of the opportunities around campus. Kind of like what she was just saying, I was very, very into my studies my first 2 semesters because I wanted to have that good GPA and I was really, really worried about school, but I missed out on hanging out with some great friends and going to see things at the Hub and then going to some concerts because I was just so focused on my academics. So like she said, just take a break and go have some fun, go experience the culture here, because you're only here for 4 years, and some of us are seniors in here, some of us are juniors, and it's like halfway gone, or it's like over, like this is your last year. So definitely just partake in the Penn State culture and history.
My first semester, you hear the term get involved a lot, you hear it all the time, but getting involved is a lot more than just joining a club, joining an organization. It's about getting to know people and making connections that way. And how I've met a lot of my best friends here is that I've joined an organization and I got to know people around me, and then I got to know people that they know. It's just kind of like a chain reaction. You get to know a lot of people So getting involved is a lot more than just joining a club. It's about getting to know new people.
Okay. Don't make those mistakes. So we just had a question about student activity fee. A student is wondering what it is and why they had to pay it. And Sean, I know you're a big student activity fee buff. Why don't you talk about that for us?
Oh my! So the student activity fee, I think, is $110 this year.
98.
98. Whoa! I just inflated it. No, depending on where you are in the university, campus-wise, there is a difference. Your student activity fee pays for clubs, organizations, activities that happen around campus. From my perspective, getting involved, I say with that, and there's another generic term, getting involved again, but getting involved with how the fee is dispersed is a good thing. So being a student government, we're heavily involved in how that fund is divvied up and how that fund is used. It's used in a lot of campus engagement aspects to, not only better your experience, but better the community's experience, the Penn State community's experience. So when you see things around campus that are going on, like there's an ice cream giveaway and a t-shirt cannon, that is there for you. You're, in a sense, paying for some aspects of these things. So getting out there and using what is being put out there for you to build a sense of community is a good thing, I would say. Is there something you would want to add for the?
Does anybody else want to
Yeah,
talk about student activity fee?
I'll tackle it. So UPAC is the student organization that is charged with actually taking the activity fee and divvying it up to other organizations or individuals on campus. So that's the University Park Allocation Committee. And a lot of students don't realize that they can take advantage of UPAC. So there are times when people involved in organizations might want to travel to a conference. And UPAC will actually, you can apply for funding for that conference. So I'm not super sure of like the actual rates, but I know that, say, well, for example, Emily went to the All Big Ten Schools conference. And did you get any UPAC funding for that?
No, we didn't, but that's because we're the student governments are we're allocated student activity fee. We have $140,000 ish that we allocate to different events and functions. But for example, I know a friend of my major, there was a big econ conference going on, and she really wanted to go, but she couldn't really pay for it, so she applied for UPAC funds, and they helped her get there by funding some of it for her. So that's a good way that people do that. You can use it individually, or if you decide to do it in an organization, you can use that. You're throwing a big event, you're trying to, yeah. The possibilities are endless. You're not necessarily definitely guaranteed that funding if you apply for it, but there's a good chance that you'll get it, especially if you're using it for something really positive. It's a good out of classroom activity or function.
Yeah, and people pay the student activity fee every year and might not go to things that utilize it very often, but there are so many ways that UPAC is allocating money to things around campus. I know for homecoming we receive a lot of student activity fee to help fund our events, and other events on campus receive student activity money. So anything UPAC funded is really for you. It's for the students, and you really won't receive funding for your event or for traveling to a conference if in the end there isn't any benefit to the student body. So I would say going I would say go into the UPAC office at least once whenever you come to campus, because there might be something that you're interested in doing that you don't know that they can help with until you actually go and visit them. So I'd say take advantage of that. We have it for a reason, and the reason is for students to have some kind of experience outside of the classroom that they can't get without the student activity fee. So
definitely take advantage of that since you are paying into it. So we've had actually 2 questions now about going to study abroad. Have any of you guys studied abroad? Shannon, why don't you talk about the process for applying for that and what it was like?
So I went abroad the summer between my sophomore and junior year of college and went to London. And I did an internship program. So basically what I did is I worked with the College of Communications to apply for this. And basically you go through the study abroad website, which is the global programs at Penn State. And you just do an application and you talk about where you want to go, what you want to do, and basically what kind of courses you're going to be taking so you can get verified for credit. And it's a pretty easy process to do that. Honestly, the application is the easy part. It's everything afterward that's hard. Like if you're doing an internship abroad, you oftentimes have to get a work visa. So I had to apply for one of those to go to London so I could work while I was there. And if you're going pretty much anywhere in the world to do an internship, you're going to have to do that. And making sure that your passport is updated. And you also have to let Penn State know your travel times and your destinations for health insurance purposes, because you're required through the university to have international health insurance just in case something happens while you're abroad. But the Office of Global Programs here is a really, really big program. We have a really big study abroad program. So if you're interested in going somewhere, you can work with them and the Office of Financial Aid if you want to go abroad but can't necessarily afford the whole trip. And it's a really, really awesome experience, and I suggest it for anyone who wants to go because there might not be another time in your life where you can travel.
Great. Yeah, I have a lot of friends that went abroad, and I know I have not. That's one opportunity that I wish I could have done when I was in college. So definitely do that. And I didn't know about the summer ones until after my sophomore year, which I wish I would have applied for. So that's a great opportunity. It's a once in a lifetime thing to do. I just got a question about gym memberships. Any of you guys, you said you love going to the gym. How do you get your membership, and how do you?
Yeah, so you can buy your gym membership online. I think it's about $50 a semester, so it's really inexpensive because you have access to unlimited classes if you like going to fitness classes, or you can use any one of the 3 gyms on campus. So there's the IM building, Rec Hall, and the White building. White building being right next to the hub, so that's the one that I'm typically at, and that's also where there's the most fitness classes. But there's great areas to work out. There's weightlifting sections, cardio equipment. There's a couple tracks you can run on, and it's typically open really early. I think maybe 6 a.m. until 1 a.m. So really, whatever time of day you like to work out, there's time for that. But it's pretty simple. You can just buy your gym membership online. I think you can even charge it to your bursar, so you can pay it the same way that you pay for your tuition. But there's a lot of really great opportunities at the gym. I've never done this, but I'm pretty sure you can have a personal trainer, show you how to use the equipment if you're new to the gym. So there's definitely some great opportunities to take advantage of there.
Yeah, that's really great. I know I had a gym membership and used it a lot. Just got a question. I'm interested in going Greek. Any advice? And what actually is Greek life? So, okay, I'm Greek. I'm in a sorority. I'm in Alpha Psi Delta. And I actually did Rush as a sophomore, but I'm really glad that I did. Greek life is a way to join a large group of people who kind of have the same values as you. And there's so many things that I got involved with through Greek life. So we have philanthropy. It's Autism Speaks. So we work a lot with raising money for autism awareness and autism care. So we do a lot with that. So I've learned a lot about philanthropy that I probably would not have gotten to work with if I had not. And every Greek organization has their own philanthropy that they focus on. And that's really cool. And that's the one way I've gotten to participate in so many other people's philanthropies and learn so much about really cool things that are really helping to change the world. Another big aspect of Greek life is actually Thon. And so I got to be involved in Thon through my sorority, and I get to help raise money. And I have a Thon child, and she's one of the coolest people ever. So I got to really get to see where the money's going and get to kind of have a really unique relationship with the child and be able to really help them through their process of dealing with their cancer and getting better. So that's a really interesting thing that Greek life has done. And it also has helped me to expand my network. I have met so many people through Greek life. I've made so many really good friends. So I would definitely recommend it if it's something that you're interested in, at least going through recruitment. And the other part of that question was any advice. The best thing I have, guys and girls alike, I think it is so important to go into recruitment with an open mind. Everyone ends up where they're supposed to be. For girls, actually, if you're thinking of going through recruitment, you need to register by August 25th. And it's actually the second week of classes. So it starts on the Saturday after the first week. So it's really important just to go in with an open mind and go through it. I think that a lot of my friends went through recruitment and dropped, and I think that's totally fine, but they don't regret, at least trying it out. So I think that, yeah, that's a good experience too. I just got a question about the international fees. John, you were talking.
Oh, yeah. So if you're coming from, you know, international territories to the United States, you might be encountering paying this international student fee. What you don't understand is a great opportunity for you because you have the ability to receive special services and some things that help you transition to the Penn State campus that you're on. So identifying those key offices that could help you is something I think that would be pertinent to any first year experience.
I just got another question saying, is it hard to get internships or jobs? Anybody want to talk about the experience that they've had with an internship? Robert?
Okay, yeah. It's really hard to get one as a freshman, so I would just go and just start trying to gain those leadership experiences and those some experiences. But I've had two internships this past summer. One was in residence life, planning events and just doing things for different central staff in residence life, as well as I was a new student orientation ambassador, which helped the freshmen of the Smith College of Business come in and I helped them schedule classes and stuff. And gaining all that experience really helped me get my internship that I have next summer for an accounting firm in their auditing department. So it is harder to get one as a freshman and maybe even a sophomore, but the more you're involved and the more you do, the more experience you get, which makes you look better for an internship. They all understand that you don't have the coursework to do, auditing. Like I won't be taking auditing until senior year, and I have an internship in it before I start the class. So it's all about getting that leadership experience and getting those networking connections. But I got the smallest one, a residence life one, that led me to my bigger one for the accounting firm. So anything's really possible as long as you just work towards it.
Yeah, and I would say that goes along with getting involved in some research because especially depending on what field you're going into and the research you get involved in, employers and recruiters will really look at that and say that was a really, good building experience for you and you can take away certain skills from that.
Just got a question. Is walking around campus and downtown at night safe? And I think that, yes, it is very safe. There's not many times where I ever feel unsafe, but it's always smart to be aware of your surroundings. I think that's so, so important. Not to mention, if you feel uncomfortable or you don't like walking alone, there is an escort system that is run by the police where they will walk you anywhere on campus. And I've talked to them about off campus too. They're never going to not walk someone off campus if they call. So, for instance, one time I wanted to try it out and see how it was. It was like a really dark night and it was like foggy and I'm like a nervous person. So I just called and this person on shift came and met me at the hub and walked me. I live downtown, so they walked me down to the edge of downtown and it was a nice experience. It was cool to have someone to walk with. So if you don't feel comfortable walking alone, which you are really safe, State College is a very safe town. There is like very, very, very few incidents. But it's always good, it's nice to have that extra help if you don't feel, if you're nervous. So does anybody else have experiences with that, like feeling safe?
Yeah, I mean, another good thing to note is if in the case of an emergency, if you're walking by yourself and you get mugged or something happens, there are emergency blue lights all over campus. And they're pretty much towers that you can see at least two other ones from one you stand at, and you can press a button and the cop will be there in less than a minute. So it's a really good program that Penn State has, a lot of universities offer, and I think they're installing some cameras in them now too. So if something do happen and you're right there, they call the police for you, and it makes you feel safer just to know that you can have someone there.
Yeah, that just goes a lot too. And I remember, especially living on campus, if you want to talk about like residence halls and kind of like the rules about piggybacking and stuff like that.
Yeah, so like in order to get into the residence halls, you have to swipe with your ID. So only the people who live in there can get in. But there are people that try and like come in behind you if they try to go see a friend, but that could lead to something more serious than damaging or whatever it may be. So it's really important to only let the people that live in the building or live in the building. It's always awkward as an RA. I have to yell at people for trying to piggyback in, but it starts with the students too. The students can say to the person like, do you live in this building? And if they say no, just tell them to call their friend and wait outside because we really try and promote safety here. And like Emily said, it is a really safe environment to walk in and live in, but there are those instances where it could turn bad. So I would just be, like she said, cautious of your surroundings and just like play smart and know what you're doing.
Yeah. Also, another thing about safety is just the biggest thing I think I see on campus is crimes of opportunity where someone will, the biggest thing that frustrates me in people is you'll be sitting next to someone and you won't know who they are whatsoever, and they'll come up to you and they'll say, hey, you watch my stuff for a minute. Just don't do that. Just pick your stuff up and take it with you. It is so easy. You don't know who you're trusting. You don't know who you're asking to do that. Don't leave your doors unlocked. Don't leave your computer sitting around. Just be really cautious, and I'm sure you won't have any problems if you're really cautious about your stuff and you're careful and you lock things up and you're aware of your surroundings. It's when you get careless is when things start to happen. It's got a question. How can I get to know the professor if it is a big class? I have a class with 700 people in it. It seems intimidating. So anyone want to talk about that? Alex, I think you talked about that 100
sure.
Thomas class you had last semester.
Yeah. So professors, on your first day of class, you'll get the syllabus, and on the syllabus, professors will always state their office hours. And all the professors that I have are really enthusiastic about office hours. They love having students come by and visit and talk to them. And I think it's definitely a great experience to do that, because when you have these giant classes of sometimes around like 700 people, it does get intimidating, and office hours allow you to connect one-on-one with your professor and help you understand material better if you don't understand a specific lesson or point they're trying to make. And just getting to know your professor too is a really good experience.
I just got a question about what is an iClicker. Brandon, you were talking about that annoying iClicker class you had that one time last semester.
Yeah. So an iClicker is it kind of looks like a remote. I don't really know how to explain the shape of it. So it's white. It looks like a remote. There are like 4 buttons on it, and basically all it is in a class you might have participation questions, and they'll say take out your iClickers, and everyone will take out their iClicker, turn it on, use the code that they put on the board, and then they'll ask questions. And because your iClicker is assigned to your ID or your like username, something like that, they can tell that you were there and that you were participating. So what I would say is, I've seen this happen way too many times. You'll be in a class, you'll be in Econ 102, you won't be able to go, but you know your friend's going, and you sit by your friends, and you say, hey, can you take my iClicker and like click in for me so you get participation points? And there have been so many times where I've been in class and the professor has walked over and been like, why do you have 6 iClickers? You know? And then basically you're not getting points and they're not getting points, and you are not on someone's good side. So iClickers, you can actually, I guess, borrow them from UPUA.
No.
Not anymore?
Not anymore.
Okay, well, you could. But if you need one, you can buy them at the bookstore. So you'll probably need one. So I would definitely look into getting one. You used to be able to get them used, but now you have to pay like some fee if you get them used. So I would just buy a new one. You'll probably use it most of your college career because teachers really like that, because it's a really easy way to take attendance. So
Also, just like piggyback off of one thing Brandon said, there's sometimes when it's so easy to just say, oh, like I have something else I'd rather do, I'm not going to go to class, especially when you're in one of these big classes your freshman and sophomore year. But I've always found it so much more beneficial to go to class and pay attention for 50 minutes or an hour and a half than to have to spend 2 or 3 hours a couple weeks down the road trying to learn the material that you missed that's now on your exam. So for me, I've always just like to go to class and pay attention and use that time as like quote unquote study time versus having to make that up later in a lot more time.
That goes really well in line with the next question that we got about academic integrity and how that really works. So I know anything you want to read up on the academic, most syllabus will have them, but academic integrity, it'll say like what you can and can't do. Like you can't plagiarize, you cannot cheat on tests, you can't. Some professors are really sticklers, like they don't want you working on your homework with other students, and they'll really, really look into that. Other professors like encourage you to work in groups. Just really know and be aware of the syllabus and what your professor expects from you, because different classes can ask different things of you. I had one friend who was a great student who, didn't have time to study for one test one time, and he asked a kid next to him an answer for a question, and he got a 0. They got the test taken away. He had like a 3.7 GPA. It's a really good GPA, and he lost everything. And that academic integrity sticks with you long after you leave the institution. That's something that will stay on your record. So it's just not smart to do. So I would just be really cautious about what your classes are asking of you and making sure that you comply with those, because it's far more worth it to do that or even just miss a question on an exam or maybe take a lesser grade than 0, because that's something that will not only get the 0, but most times they will take you to student conduct and stuff like that, and that stuff will stay on your record for a long time.
It's something Penn State really does take seriously, I think. I know in the Steele College of Business, they take it really, really seriously, to the point where our honor code is on our bathroom stalls. So they really, really try and drill it into your head, but it is really something good to keep yourself to. A lot of students can't, they get cheated in high school, so they think they can come here and cheat. But if you hold yourself to that high standard of not cheating and doing your own work and just following the rules, you'll be a better person later on down the road.
Absolutely. So we just got a question on Twitter. Is it better to double major or join a lot of clubs? I'm not sure if I'll have time to do both. So
Yeah, so I'm double majoring, and I'm involved in a lot of clubs. So I'd say you definitely have time to do both. But for me, I really had to weigh my options. Do I want to pursue this or do I want to pursue a double major? I ended up choosing just pursuing both. It's worked out for me so far. But I'd say take some time to really figure out, really get into the groove of college, know how much time you have to devote to your major, find things that you might be interested in participating in, and join them and just kind of see if you'll have time for it. I would say, and I tell people this all the time, if you can take the road where you have to choose between things less, then I would do it. College is one of those times where you have so many opportunities, and a lot of the opportunities you will only have this one time. So for me, it was like, well, I want to double major, but I also want to do this and this and this. So I just decided that I was going to get really good at time management, and I was going to devote a lot of my time to doing what I wanted, and I've gotten a lot out of college so far. So I would say if you think you have to choose, try not to choose, but really decide what you want to get out of college and then go from there. I know that I wanted to double major, and I also wanted to pursue things like homecoming and UPUA. So I just decided to try to do it all. But there are some students who that might not work. So just knowing yourself, knowing how much you can take on, and knowing what you want from college is definitely, that'll definitely help you decide. So.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You don't have to, pick between the two. But if you do feel overwhelmed in some circumstances, like being a nuclear engineer, I could have double majored in mechanical engineering because they're the same college. But instead, I looked at, well, what are my minor options? You have Six Sigma Business and some things like that. So you can look towards maybe those minors for specializing in some areas you might want to go into as well, to kind of balance your books and keep yourself in mind.
This has got a good question. Am I allowed to use electronics in class? So, Alex, you want to talk about class?
Yeah, sure. So basically, it all depends on the class and your professor. There will be classes where you're encouraged to or even required to have a laptop on you that you use all during classes. And there will be some courses where no electronics are allowed, no laptops, no cell phones, no anything. So really, it depends on the professor and the course and all their policies.
Okay, so I just got another question. What is your favorite Penn State tradition? So I'll start with mine. So I think that one of the coolest things is that every year there's a class gift. So all over campus, there are so many wonderful things that would not have existed without class gifts. So for example, like class gift in 1999 is like the awesome aquariums. There's like the oaks coming down from the library. There's benches all over campus that are from as early as like the 1900s and 1800s. So there are so many really cool class gifts around campus, and I think that's something awesome that is really cool, something that you get to be a part of your legacy at Penn State, because you can come back and be like, oh, in the class 2016 we gave, I mean, I don't know what we're going to give, but something obviously really
To
cool.
be decided.
Yes, CBD.
I think one of my favorite things, I love like Penn State sports, and I love like how many cool sporting events we have to go to. And one of the coolest things is that at the end of every game, no matter if we win or lose, we sing the alma mater. And especially at football games when there's like a ton of students packed in there. I love like when everyone stays to sing the alma mater with the team afterwards?
I guess my favorite, I guess it's not one tradition, but just all the fight songs. I think that they're things that, you know, a lot of students know and a lot of students love. So like if you're at a football game, there will always be fight songs, and it's always something that kind of like unifies all the Penn Staters who are there. So there are times when you might be at a place like a football game or any other sporting event, or any event that a lot of alumni are involved in, and it's so cool to just have those songs and have those chants that connect me, all of us in this room, like students who are, you know, not even graduated yet, to people who may have graduated in the class of, you know, 1957. You know, it's just something that really that we all connect with. So I think that for me, I can't really pinpoint one tradition, but I'd say just the fight songs are things that have been around Penn State forever, and they have a big effect on the student body and what it means to be a Penn Stater. So.
Yeah, and the Blue Band has a cool website if you want to check it out. It's our marching band for those of you that don't know, and they have like recordings of a lot of the fight songs, and they have like the lyrics of them. So if you want to brush up on that, you can learn the fight songs in the alma mater to pick out before you come. You guys want to talk about your favorite traditions about Penn State?
I would say one of my favorite traditions is the Penn State Creamery. Right now we're in our 150th year, which is kind of spectacular. The ice cream is always amazing. I just think it's a cool tradition that continues to reinvent itself. This year, I believe birthday cake is the voted in flavor, which if you haven't tried it, I recommend you do. Other than that, I think the creamery is a really good Penn State tradition.
So I want to echo Katie with my Penn State tradition, but I really love singing alma mater at the end of football games as well. It's really just a sense of community, which I think is really special to Penn State. We are a very big campus, but getting together with 107,000 other people in Beaver Stadium, there's really something special about that. Football games in general is just a really great Penn State tradition. You can join Nittanyville and do camp outs before football games, which is another really cool tradition too. So on football Saturdays, it's always fun to see a lot of Penn State tradition as well.
Yeah, I would say my favorite Penn State tradition is probably homecoming. Homecoming happens on like a really good weekend during the year where it's like right in the middle of the fall, and it's like really, really nice out. Everyone's just so happy, and like the parade, we do parade around the campus and around downtown, which is really, really fun. And like people actually do come back. Like I had a lot of senior friends last year that graduated, but they came back for a homecoming this past year. So it was really, really great to see them. But I just really, really like the atmosphere of homecoming here on campus.
My favorite tradition would probably be the sense of unity and family amongst all Penn Staters. And a lot of people think that, you know, a school with 40,000 students would be intimidating, but really you really do feel close and unified with the 40,000 students, the hundreds of thousands of alumni. I think that's what makes Penn State so special, is that it really is just one giant family.
Just got a question. I've seen articles of really cool people coming to speak at Penn State. Where can I see them? So talk about this. There are a lot of cool people that come, but they come from different sponsors. So a lot of the places will be free. So you can just figure out where they are, you know, figure out the location and show up to them. But a lot of times, especially things from the Student Programming Association, SPA, they'll bring, like, they do a Distinguished Speakers series. And they'll be advertising for those speakers, and then they will let you know when tickets will go out. And usually they are free also, like they're always free, but you have to get tickets for it because they do sell out. So you can go with your ID to like the hub desk, or I think it's like the BJC. A lot of times they'll give the tickets out. Sometimes even downtown at the theater downtown at the theater downtown. Yeah, so you can get tickets all over the place. Just really keep your eye out on the articles, and usually those will always tell you where you can find those people. Like, for example, I know I saw, we actually, UPUA and the College Republicans, College Democrats hosted Bernie, no, we didn't host Bernie Sanders. We had, who do we have? Ron Paul and, who's our other figure? Ron Paul and Barney Frank. Yes, Barney Frank. We had them. That was really cool. So that was something that we sponsored and gave tickets out for. So that's another cool one. We actually just got another. Oh, yeah, Barney. And Yeah. So another cool thing was talk about someone just asked us to name some administrators. So President Barron, Eric Barron, he's our president. He was the dean of the Earth and Mineral Sciences School, and then he went to be the president at Florida State University. Now he's back as our president. He's a really cool guy. If you ever get the chance to meet him, he's usually around campus, and I can tell you that he'll be on the first Saturday before classes, right after convocation. He'll be at the hub meeting people. So I recommend you come meet him because he's like one of the coolest university presidents in my opinion. Although we are biased, but I think we were all talking about it. We've all had like great experiences with him. Does anybody else want to talk about anybody that they like or no?
I would just want to say, all the administrators, even though they're, up there and they kind of seem intimidating, they're really approachable, and it's really easy to build a relationship with them. One of the people that stands out besides President Barron would be Provost Nick Jones. He's a very nice guy, very approachable, and he's someone who, you would start talking to on the street, and then you would later find out, oh my gosh, that's the provost of the university.
Yeah.
So they're very approachable, and I would recommend trying to get to know them.
I think there's a lot of people at Penn State that you'll come across throughout your time here, and people that you can kind of take on as mentors, whether they be administrators, professors, academic advisors, but kind of finding those people that you can just bounce some of those questions about Penn State or your future career off of is really helpful to have when you're here.
Yeah, so I don't think we have any more questions, but we've really covered a whole lot of things here. And this will be available for people to watch online on the UPUA page, the Hub page. We'll put it out on our Twitter. So I encourage you to watch it again if you have any more questions. We can go through and say our emails if people are interested in asking us questions. My email is upua @psu.edu. So if you guys want to.
Yeah, my email is director@thon.org.
At psu.edu.
Mine is SVO5499 at psu.edu.
Mine is editor-in-chief at psucollegian.com.
Mine is RFF5048 at psu.edu.
Mine is Alex Bauer at onwardstate.com.
So I think that we're all really excited for all of you incoming students, and you can reach out to any of us if you have any questions about getting involved or anything else that you might want to know before you come to campus. So thank you again to the leaders and to all of the students tuning in. We wish you the best of luck at Penn State, and we are
Penn State!